Thank you for staying with the Channel One newsroom. Now, the National Democratic Congress has described the Supreme Court's ruling on the 4 parliamentary seats declared vacant as a bad precedent for the country's judicial system. The NDC's criticism follows the Supreme Court's decision deeming Speaker Alban Gbagbe's actions as unconstitutional. The court has subsequently released a detailed explanation of its judgment, sparking widespread debate among stakeholders. More in the following report.
In its full judgment, the Supreme Court ruled that a member of parliament will only vacate their seat if they change political affiliation and continue to serve under the new identity during their current term. The 5-2 majority decision by the Apex Court has since ignited debates with the release of the full judgment, with some supporting the court's stance and others expressing opposing views. Deputy spokesperson for the John Mahama campaign, Beatrice Annan, speaking on current affairs program The Big Issue on ChannelOne TV, criticized the judgment, arguing that the Supreme Court lacked jurisdiction over the matter, which had been brought before it by Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin.
Everybody was taught in law school, and we all know that the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court can either be original, appellate, or reference. What the contention has been, and what every reasonable legal mind has asserted, is that the Supreme Court did not have original jurisdiction when it comes to the determination of a matter of vacancy or otherwise in Parliament.
In response, Member of Parliament for Ebuakwa South and member of the Afenyo-Markin legal team, Samuel Atachian, rejected Annan's claims, asserting that the Speaker's actions were inconsistent with the law.
What was before the Supreme Court, if you look at it critically, was that my venerable Speaker, a very good friend and a mentor, somebody who talks to me a lot, he extend himself onto a court and make a definitive pronouncement that the 4 members of Parliament have vacated their seats. Could he do that? When, in interpreting Article 97, 1, G, and H, it is a judicial matter. When did the legislature become a court?
Meanwhile, senior lecturer in public law at the University of Ghana School of Law and a member of the Speaker's legal team, Dr. Justice Rimsai, on his part, contended that the ruling created further ambiguity in the law, making it harder to achieve clarity.
I have been wondering why the cases of Zanato Rawlings and Kuma Nimfa are being used as though they support the position of the Supreme Court, the majority position of the Supreme Court. Those cases actually tell us that when a court has original jurisdiction, a court other than the Supreme Court, we should go to that court first, in line with the practice direction. And while in that court, when a question of interpretation arises, then that court will refer the sole question of interpretation to the Supreme Court to interpret. And when the Supreme Court is done with the interpretation, it will revert the matter to the court below to apply the meaning the Supreme Court gave in resolving the issue before that court. And that is the meaning of Article 132. So I don't know how Kuma Nimfa and Zanato Rawlings would be used to support the position of the majority. It rather supports the position of the minority.
President of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, who was also on the program, slammed the Supreme Court, describing the judiciary as becoming a playground for politicians.
The real issue really has to do with the way we do our politics in this part of our world. Our politics is becoming too adversarial, and frankly speaking, my reading of the judiciary is unfortunately in this particular case. And a few of the